Good evening from Swansea, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. We are only 48 hours away from WrestleMania now. It is crazy how fast it has arrived. But today we're not talking about WWE. Instead, we are talking about AEW. And I've got an absolutely stacked panel to do things with, kicking things off with a Tuesday night delight on a Thursday. How are you, Shad?
What's going on, Ben? It's been a while, man. It's been a while since I felt like I've done a show with you, but all is good here, man. I'm a sicko today. I know it's Mania week. I know everything is big time out there in Vegas, but my goodness, in Boss Town, our CEO and Athena. I'm hyped to talk about it. Let's get into it.
Absolutely, yes. And you mentioned Vegas too. Currently, Clark is on a plane, Kobe is on a plane, Soul is on a plane. Everybody is on planes. They're all going to Vegas and they're all going to have a great time, no doubt about it. And they're going to be covering stuff there as well. And Anthony, I presume, will be getting on a plane anytime now as well. We got numero one Superfly in the comments. Shout out to you. We got Fernando. Shout out to you. And we got DCX Warlord as well. Shout out to you as well. But also, shout out to the man who reviewed AEW Dynamite last night. The man filling in for David Sheldon. How are you today, Archie?
I'm doing good, Ben. Thanks for having me. I did the review in article form, and now I'm doing it in video form. Still reeling from the quiz loss on Sunday to Kobe, but we'll get over it and we'll power through this show. It was a fantastic historic episode for AEW. So let's get into it.
Absolutely. And Archie, you might have lost the quiz, but you won the hearts of the people. The amount of DMs I've been getting about you after that one. I mean, look, you one's got it in the comments here. Archie is the king of the quiz in his eyes.
This is the way I see it, right? This year was Rocky 1 and WrestleMania 39. Next year, it's Rocky 2. It's WrestleMania 40. We're finishing the story next year. So don't worry, guys. Don't worry.
Don't worry, Arch. It is Mr. Off the Air, Mr. Sunday Spotlight, Driz, Mr. Grappling for Positions that is going to have your vengeance. Kobe, your day's numbered.
Absolutely. The rumor on the street is Clark might food poison him or something over the weekend to try and get in his head.
You know that video of Triple H taking out the ref before he hits the free? That'll be Clark.
But yeah, I mean, listen, the quiz is going to be fun. You mentioned Grappling for Position, Shad. New episode tonight will be coming out about that as well. But out of the gates, let's talk about the match which Archie awarded 5 stars on the Wrestling Republic rating scale to last night. Mercedes Moné versus Athena. I mean, I knew these two ladies were going to put on a banger. It was obvious. Anybody could tell that. But I did not expect them to reach the heights that they did on an episode of Dynamite. They opened it up with an absolute banger, a Dynamite classic instantly. Shad, I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, all throughout yesterday into last night, I was saying happy Mercedes Moné versus Athena today to those who celebrate. And my goodness, those women tore the roof off that arena last night. Not only did it live to expectations, it surpassed expectations. Talk about two of the best professional wrestlers in our business, the most fluid workers. They showed why they are the standard of what they do. And, a lot has been said about Athena, her historic Ring of Honor reign. Some people may question, would it translate to will she be as over when she gets back on AEW television? The pop last night, going on the road, going against the hometown queen, Mercedes. The fans were so excited for it. The fans were so excited for the entirety of the match. It felt like a big-time match because, of course, it was a big-time match. I love that they just kept it straight to the mat, man. a lot of reversals, a lot of great in-ring psychology within it, and a clean finish. I thought the finish was super duper well done. I think it gives you a lot to desire with the roll-up finish for them to not have their first bout, but maybe have a second bout, third bout, whatever matches we have between these two. It says something, and it says something to AEW, man. Mercedes Moné, in my opinion, is one of the most important signings that Tony Khan made at the time. But now that we've given it a year plus, it's even more evident. She has been a big main stage of why the focus of their women's division is important. You get a game changer in her, and you have to position her like she is one of the top people, because she is. And then you put the people around her. She's been a person that has shaked it up with a lot of different women on the roster. And for her to get a match versus someone like Athena, who she respects, who she wanted to go against, she's been licking her chops for this match. She showed up and showed out. The Owen continues. At the moment, I'm really intrigued. Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm on paper is one of the most intriguing and important women's matches that we can have booked, because it's honestly, not only is it champ versus champ, but it's two of the top women in our industry going against each other. And at the moment, Mercedes is making headway of being Women's Wrestler of the Year. Like, I can't fathom, like, I don't know who's better than her, bell for bell, in the entire world. Like, I can confidently say I think she may be the top women's wrestler in the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, in America and Japan and Mexico, all of it. I don't know what we can expect more from it, but it feels like a lot more is to come, because she's really hitting the stride. And I did say this, and I'm going to confidently say it again. This is the best I've ever seen Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. This is the best run she's had in her entire career. When you talk about the dominance of being a champion, she's held the belt for over a year. You talk about the match quality that she's stringed out in AEW, in Japan. She's honestly hit a new motor, and she's hit the passion and love that you know that she has for the industry. It's like she's that same girl that was wrestling Bayley at NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn. Like, it's crazy. So kudos to her. Kudos to Athena. I'm super excited to see what continues with the Owen, but I really want this feud to come back again shorter than longer, because these women's chemistry is top notch.
That is the one thing which did surprise me. The fact that Athena didn't win. I thought it was going to be Athena wins and we'll run this back at All In. But now I'm thinking, hey, Mercedes Moné might have to be the favorite to win this entire tournament.
I mean, so the other side of the bracket is very interesting, because I think both of those women can very well benefit winning the Owen. My only thing is this. Does it give you more to desire for a match at All In? Because to me, now that those are the final three, right? That to me feels like the biggest match that you can build for All In. The only other person out of the three that I would make a case for is a Chris Statlander, because I think she's very well deserving of the moment. But then it's also the heel versus babyface dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't keep flip-flopping her character. Hater, you could probably turn her heel. I think that could work, and it could help rejuvenate her. But are the fans going to be that excited for Hater versus Storm with this iteration of Hater? I think Hater is phenomenal, but I feel like she's definitely feels a little bit more colder for the fans than she was when she was a champ a couple years ago.
Yeah,
we know Paul White, of course, is involved in AEW, but by any chance, is he giving tips to Chris Statlander? Because you are right, Shad. She just flip-flops between face and heel all the time. Fernando says this match was everything we thought it would be. Absolutely. A numero one Superfly brings up a fantastic point. Congratulations to AEW Dynamite for officially now going longer than WCW Nitro. Really, really impressive. Amazing. That he doesn't think it was a 5-star. I do, and somebody else who does is our reviewer for the show, Archie. How did you think of it? What did you think of it? And why did you give it those 5 stars?
So the thing is, the phrase "dream match" is thrown around a lot, right? These days in professional wrestling, it's probably thrown around a bit too much. But this is a match that is justified with that phrase, and this is something that and this is something that surprised me. And Shad mentioned it with their chemistry. I thought they'd have good chemistry, and I thought they'd have good chemistry to have a 5-star classic, or maybe 4-5 or 4-7-5. I didn't realize how inseparable they would be in terms of their chemistry. They were like, where I'm coming out of that match thinking, are these two women wrestling soulmates? Because that kind of chemistry, you can't teach that. It just comes naturally. And look, the sequences they were putting together, they came together seamlessly. What I loved was it wasn't too smooth. It wasn't too crisp or smooth. There was a struggle there. As I mentioned in my review, wrestling should feel like a struggle at times. It shouldn't feel like everything shouldn't feel so crisp and smooth all the time. Wrestlers should be feeling, we should be feeling like they're struggling to win this match. And we saw that quite a few times in the Monet and Athena match. I think some people might take that as maybe not a botch or whatever, but they might see it as maybe it's not coming together cleanly. But wrestling moves shouldn't come together cleanly a lot of the time. And one thing I wanted to mention as well is, I mentioned this before, that Mercedes is so good at these little intricate details. When we're talking about facial expressions in a match and how you're carrying yourself in a match, Mercedes Moné is one of the best in wrestling to do this. And I'm talking about, when we talk about that, we're talking about people like Cope and Christian are fantastic at just telling a story with their facial expressions. Roman Reigns is brilliant at that. Mercedes Moné is right up there. And the important thing about intricate details in matches is it can elevate matches to a higher level. Even it's the little things that people forget about, but when they are implemented in matches, they make it that much better. And that's why I gave it 5 stars, because of not only Mercedes' kind of reaction to certain moments in the match that made it bigger and made it feel more special, but also Athena was carrying her weight as well and getting on Mercedes' level in that aspect. Just both women absolutely sold brilliantly the struggle of the match, and the ending was, I thought, absolutely perfect. A lot of the times with roll-ups, they are kind of anticlimactic, which I kind of thought was like that with the Josh Alexander and Hangman Adam Page match. But this was not anticlimactic at all. It was perfect for the match. And I actually think they are going to run this back. I think Mercedes winning, because she did grab the tights as well. It wasn't like a clean win. I feel like they are going to run this back at All In. But I'm honestly, these two, they need to run it back, because I need to know for sure if they are wrestling soulmates, which I'm pretty sure they are. They
looked like it.
Yeah, they did. It's just their chemistry just came together. It was just so easy and so seamless that you can't teach that kind of chemistry in the ring. You just can't. And they're absolutely two of the best in the world, 100%.
In the aspect of like the fluidity with the reversals consistently throughout the match, right? Like just the fact that they both were playing defense as an offense is so like, it's just so textbook, like to the T of it. And it's something that you got to appreciate a lot, to be honest with you. And then what Archie said in regards to facial expressions, I think that is a nuance that wrestling fans don't appreciate unless you like look at all the totality of the match. That woman is a hell of a seller. She makes 100%. Her opponents look good, and that is what makes a good wrestler a great wrestler. Like, you can get all the offense you want, but how are you going to make us feel the fight on both ends? And she does that so well.
It's even just the things like when she's got like a headlock in or something simple like that, and she's kind of making different faces and being cocky and being arrogant. She's telling her, she's showing her emotions easily throughout matches, and it's something that wrestlers can watch Mercedes matches and can take inspiration from. Because I think a lot of times, when I watch NXT, I review NXT, and it's very much a developmental, but at times you're kind of seeing, their faces are kind of just straight, and they're not really, showing much emotion in a match. And I think Mercedes does that to the best of her ability and better than pretty much anyone in wrestling at the minute.
I don't understand what she has to do to actually get the IWC back on her side.
Yeah.
Because the amount of people who are still, calling her washed, hating on her, I really can't understand it at all where this hate for her comes from. It's weird.
To say that woman is washed as a worker is just pure
It's
hatred.
nuts.
Say what you want to say about like how you feel about her character and
Mhm.
all that. That's fine. But when the bell rings, Mercedes is as good as the best of them. Like, come on, man.
But that's
honestly
that's the thing is that we saw earlier today on Wrestling Republic. I saw our account tweeted saying that she thinks she's got 10 years left in wrestling. That shocked me. I mean, obviously she might want to go into acting or something. She could go for another 15 years. Honestly, like she's 33 years of age, and
2
she looks
decades
great.
if she wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. She's one of the best, not just in the world. She's one of the best of all time in women's wrestling. She needs to get a lot more credit.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Fernando with a huge statement here. Top 5 best women's matches of all time. Big statement.
That's a big statement. That is big.
Personally, I wouldn't go that high, but I mean, it's match of the year contender.
The crazy thing is this: she's streamlined like some of the best AEW, and I know obviously AEW is a brand new company, but like she's streamlined some of the best AEW women's matches of all time in her short time being here thus far.
To be fair, they didn't give much time to it before she arrived there too.
I've got to say, actually, I think in terms of TV matches for the women, it's probably right up there for some of the best TV matches for women's wrestling ever. Like 100%. I don't know about women's matches of all time, but
could imagine giving them a pay-per-view match and seeing what in a like actual big arena. You know what I'm saying? Like with
if they did it in
crazy.
If they did it in Texas, like that crowd's gonna go absolutely crazy. Like we saw a glimpse of it before the match today. Like they're gonna go crazy, and I hope they do it.
And then,
I don't think they will now. I think they are going to do Timeless versus Monet.
Which
will still be a classic as well.
One short thing before we go though, Athena to me is a person that doesn't get the like. WWE did have her too, right? And I just don't know, like, where, like, and even part of it in AEW not putting her directly on AEW TV, I don't get it sometimes because I think her look is really intriguing. I love her. I love everything about her ring gear. The colors in her hair. All of that is so awesome.
Her nickname, like the Fallen Goddess, is such a awesome nickname.
It's good. Yeah,
and she's such a good. Not a good worker. She's a sensational worker. And I think she's a very good talker for what she does and how she plays a character. So I hope we get to see. I hope this opens the door for Tony to be like, all right, we need to get her on Dynamite every single week from now on.
Yes. They have to. I've never really understood it. I mean, all due respect to Ring of Honor, and you guys know me, I'm a big Ring of Honor fan. But I mean, obviously, Beer City Bruiser was on Spotlight a couple of weeks ago, and he said he's never met somebody with Honor Club. So the fact that that's the truth behind it. Not many people are subscribed to it, so not many people are seeing the fantastic work which she is putting on. And to your point, Shad, I don't understand why not. But now let's talk about somebody else who, for the longest time, wasn't getting the respect that he deserved. And that was, of course, Josh Alexander. He was killing it in TNA. So underrated. He's come over now to All Elite Wrestling. Had his debut against Hangman last night. Really fun and enjoyable match. Loved it. Fantastic stuff. Hangman got the win. Josh was still protected. My only issue was what happened post-match. And I wouldn't even say it's an issue, right? Because obviously he helped Don Callis out. He used to work for Don Callis. It makes sense. But I hope that really was a one-off. I hope he doesn't actually join the Don Callis family because, listen, all due respect to Josh Alexander, right? But I think with the momentum that Takeshita and Fletcher have right now, he's going to get lost in the shadows a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he needs to do his own thing or even feud with them. Shad, I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, it is a bit of a head scratcher to align him with the Callis family out the gate. Just because you hear the reception towards him last night, fans were excited. We, as pro wrestling fans, know how great Josh Alexander is. We know the lineage and history that he has prior to Ring of Honor, but obviously more recently what he's done in TNA and Impact. And them getting him is a pretty solid to big hire to bolster to your roster that's already stacked. And for me, a lot of what Alexander did at the end of his timeline in TNA with the heel didn't click with me 100%. And then just kind of upright putting him in a heel faction with Callis. I don't know. I don't think I would do that initially. I think I would allow him to maybe play more of a tweener, let him kind of just be the wrestler's wrestler, kind of how we have with Speedball Mike Bailey. And allow him to progress and grow into that role. But the fear of getting lost in the shuffle is always that, right? I think we can always go to that. But I'll give AEW credit because in the past, some odd year, they were able to add the Hurt Syndicate, who've been playing a prominent role. Speedball initially, he just got a big title match in the Triple Threat. He's been booked on TV. Kevin Knight, thus far, it looks like they're booking him like he's a pretty big deal. I hope this is a continuation. I hope we have this with Josh Alexander. If he does go to the Callis family, I will have to say this, though. That might be one of the strongest factions roster-wise. Takeshita, Alexander, Kyle Fletcher. That is a phenomenal trio to have as a unit. And if he does go there, I need the Callis family to be the faction in AEW. They need, but maybe next to the Hurt Syndicate, but maybe over the Hurt Syndicate. That needs to be the main faction. That needs to be what we need to clean off of our dirt from the Death Riders. That you allow Don Callis really to be the superior manager he is and manage three guys who just come in, wreck shop, give them all belts. Why not? Let them all be champions. We got a bunch of mid-card belts. Have all three of them hold one and just feel like Callis's version of like Evolution for AEW, because that could be special and that could really benefit those three guys if you book them in that way.
Absolutely. No, I do agree there. The only issue is I can't see them doing it because they do have, to your point, so many great singles guys. I can't see them putting 3 singles titles on 3 guys in the same faction. I hope they do it. I would love it. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Kenny Omega is going to have quite a long run with this merged international and continental whatever championship. Josh Alexander doesn't need a faction, says Fernando, and Numero One Superfly agrees and says, I also hope Josh Alexander joining the Don Callis family is just temporary, but of course the match they had, fantastic.
The match was superb, and obviously this is where the best wrestle. That's the moniker. This is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Like
it is.
He's belt for belt a special talent. So kudos.
Their roster is insane.
I've been saying it for ages, and I've been saying it to other members of Wrestling Republic for quite a while. When Josh Alexander became a free agent, I just wanted him to go somewhere where people can see how good he is, and that is, in my opinion, one of the best wrestlers in the world on his day. Now, I've been a TNA reviewer for the past year. He's always been the one that's been giving 110% in every single show that they do. And when he gives 110%, he's always one of the best to do it in the world. So I really hope he gets that opportunity in AEW, and I'm really happy for him that he's gotten signed and getting that bag.
No doubt about it. Honestly, this roster gets more stacked and stacked by the minute. But talking about something else, which is just great, let's talk for a second about Demand Progress Plus. Because tonight, if you're in the US, if you're in Pacific time, it starts at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. If you're in the UK, it's 7:59 in the morning tomorrow. But Demand Progress Plus, you can watch live Progress Wrestling live from Vegas. It is an absolutely stacked card. Seriously, guys, you need to check it out. They're going to kill it at the Collective. In my personal opinion, it is one of the shows of the weekend that I'm excited for the most. And also seeing early morning wrestling in the UK. I mean, that is wild to me as well, live. Absolutely nuts. But again, 11:59 Pacific time tonight, 7:59 a.m. if you're in the UK tomorrow. And you can use code WatchProgress1 to get 50% off your first month on Demand Progress Plus, the home of Progress, Defy, and more. Once again, use code WatchProgress1 to get 50% off your first month on Demand Progress Plus, the home of Progress, Defy, and more. And it will be live on there today. But without further ado, let's get into the controversial topic, the topic about why Archie did not give Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita 5 stars. I mean, it was an absolute banger. Why wasn't it 5, Archie?
Right, I'll start off by saying that, look, 4.75, it does not mean that it's not a banger without a doubt. This was a fantastic match. I've been waiting for these two to run it back since their Revolution Classic last year. And yeah, it was a fantastic match. The ending made sense. Ospreay's looking like he's on that trajectory of getting towards the world title in AEW. So building him up and allowing him to get wins over established guys like Takeshita is a great decision. And in the same aspect, Takeshita losing makes complete sense because he seems like he's going on a bit of a downward spiral since his loss to Kenny. He lost the title to Kenny. And he lost to Will now. So I think they can tell a story with that. Maybe some friction within the Don Callis family, or maybe Takeshita having to try and find his way again. But the result made sense. The match was absolutely fantastic. On to why it wasn't 5 stars. And look, before I start going into it, it's like, I got to say firstly, if you want to get a 5-star match for the Wrestling Public System, we don't just kind of give them out, like sweets. We're not making them 5.5 stars. We're not giving them 6 stars. If you want to get a 5-star match, it's got to be pretty much perfect. And the only 5-star matches I've been reviewing for over a year, the only 5-star matches I've given is Speedball versus Mustafa Ali at Slammiversary 2024, Jordan Grace versus Masha Slamovich at Bound for Glory 2024, and Mercedes Moné versus Athena last night. I've gone through matches like Stephanie Vaquer versus Julia, Fraxium versus Rascals, Roxanne Perez versus Thea Hale. Basically, not Roxanne Perez, Fraxium versus Chase U, and I've not given them 5 stars. That's how tough it is to get 5 stars in the system. It has to be perfect, and there was one aspect of this which was not perfect, and that was the kickouts at 1, right? And I'm not a massive fan of these spirit kickouts, and then they start kind of pumping their arms like they're Hulk Hogan or something. I'm not a massive fan of that, but I can kind of take it if it's a bit rare. Like we saw with Cody Rhodes, he kicked out at 1 from the Burning Hammer, I think it was, AJ Styles. That wasn't too great at Backlash, but it's rare, so it kind of made sense. Takeshita's had a move kicked out of at 1 against Kenny Omega, and he had it against Will Ospreay here, right? And I would have given it a pass if it was just Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay then got straight up, went straight in for a hidden blade with a lot of momentum, and Takeshita then kicked out at 1, right? So the Ospreay kicking out at 1, I didn't like it, but I may have given it a pass, and I may have overlooked it for 5 stars. Takeshita, when he kicked out at 1, I just thought, this is absolutely stupid, because I don't think you should have spirit spots that early on, that late on in a match. If you want to do kicks out at 1, I think doing it early on in a match, like say last year at WrestleMania, for example, when Seth Rollins got hit with a Claymore from Drew McIntyre, basically at the start of the match. If he kicked out at 1 there, that makes sense, right? But late on in the match, when you should be exhausted and you kind of, it just. I mean, you said it best, Ben. Wrestling's supposed to kind of suspend your disbelief. When you're looking at, you're kind of thinking, "Oh, come on, that's not realistic." You're not gonna, Ospreay's not gonna kick out at 1 and go, yeah, and then get back up and then hit a hidden blade full force, at full pace. That's not how it works. And then Takeshita kicking out at 1 as well is, look, it's that's why I didn't give it 5 stars. It has to be perfect. And it was a brilliant match, but it just has to be perfect. And that one thing just wasn't perfect for me, and it took me out of the match.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, Archie. I agree with you completely. I
Mhm.
didn't mind the Osprey kick out. What frustrated
Yeah.
me, to your point, was the hidden blade. Like you
Yeah.
said, at that speed, with that force, nobody on planet Earth is getting up for a
Yeah.
couple of minutes. Never mind
Absolutely.
after
Yeah.
the one count. And it just annoys me when people kick out of that to begin with. Never
Mhm.
mind when they kick out at one. So I agree with you,
Yeah.
Archie.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Fernando
Yeah.
doesn't agree. He says it was more than 5 stars. Numero one says
Is
the
that
same
David
thing
Meltzer in the
as
thing?
well. Dr. Huge Show says there were several small botches. So I mean, fair enough. I didn't
I
particularly
don't
pick
didn't
up
see
on
I
that.
I
didn't
don't
I
know if
didn't
it's
see
the
that.
best Dynamite match of all time, too. It's definitely one of the best Dynamite matches this year. But like,
Mhm.
I like Osprey and Darby a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
I hated that for the same reason. They were
yeah.
kicking out and wanted that
Okay, yeah,
too.
that is fair enough. Yeah.
This is
To be fair,
Osprey
I
for
was
you, man.
that's this is
Maybe
me
you don't like Osprey.
this is me being a bit inconsistent because I remember that I was trying to boost that out to 5 stars at the time.
Yeah, it wasn't. I have not had such an issue with a match like that in a
Yeah.
long while because it was so good and then
Yeah.
went so stupid. Like
Yeah,
they were
that
just
was
doing
stupid.
stuff which
Yeah.
would kill a person, and they were
Yeah.
kicking out and just going into
Yeah.
a
I
neutral
was
position with flips.
I was there live, so I'm definitely being
Yeah.
biased about
It
that.
was an awesome
Um,
crowd. Yeah.
oh
Oh,
my
it was.
goodness, man! I have to say this: Dynamite's being in these more intimate, smaller arenas have been some of the best calls that they've done as a company.
Yeah.
It makes it feel you feel the energy. Like when I was watching Osprey and Darby, the energy of everybody in there together, like it felt like we were watching like an indie show, like and people just tearing the roof off in like an
Mhm.
independent circuit. Like it brings the essence of it, and I
Mhm.
think it helps the wrestlers out because I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
crowd reaction can help give them that extra
Yeah.
boost and working and
I
be
think
more confident on how they do stuff.
Yeah, that's why I prefer arena shows more than stadium shows in general, because stadium shows I think it's quite tough because the noise gets out. So it's probably quite
Yeah.
tough for the wrestlers to know, are the fans kind of enjoying this or not? Where
Right.
in an arena show, and you can kind of get a better atmosphere in the arena show because the noise is trapped in. Getting into
Yeah.
science a bit here, but
Well, some of the to even go further into that, some of the newer stadiums, such as a SoFi, are designed in ways where the sound will kind of be, more enclosed in
right,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
But
That
yeah, it
did make
depends on the
sense because
stadium.
that was at WrestleMania 39,
Yeah,
and
Mania this year will
and
be like
that was a
that
great
too.
atmosphere.
yeah.
Is that
Because
how the
Oh, that
Allegiant
was.
Stadium is made?
Yeah, Allegiant Stadium is one of the newer stadiums, so they built it in that same type of. Only
Yeah.
difference is nobody watches the Raiders, so they don't get the. they don't get that,
Yeah.
advantage. It's other
Yeah.
Absolutely. But up next, let's talk about it because the Death Riders have been defeated. It's a huge celebration. All the roster members who've been hiding in the shadows, missing from all these Death Riders attack, all came out and celebrated with them, pretending they did something. They didn't do anything. It was been my pet peeve of this entire storyline. But let's ignore that for a second because this trios match was really, really fun. And the way it ended, I really, really liked as well. Samoa Joe choked out Jon Moxley. He choked out the AEW champion. So now, not only a powerhouse Hobbs, Samoa Joe, and Shibata, the AEW trios champions, but in my eyes, Samoa Joe is owed a championship opportunity. Archie, what were
Mhm.
your thoughts?
I thought this was the perfect ending to a historic Dynamite episode. Look, was it the best match on the show? No, not by a long stretch. But the moment of the Death Riders getting their first dent in their armor, that's worth ending the show alone, no matter how good the match is. And the match was a fun match. We had some cameos from some of AEW's biggest faces, of the company over not just over the past year, but of their whole tenure. Young Bucks came out. I was a bit annoyed that maybe Kenny wasn't featured, because on a show like this, maybe Kenny should have been featured. Swerve, somebody that as soon as he's come into AEW, he's been, he's just had the rocket strapped to him straight away, and he's not fumbled the ball whatsoever. He's been the face of that company. He is a soldier for AEW, basically. So to see him involved in that match was great. Willow, one of the most beloved women's wrestlers, not just in AEW, but in wrestling in general. It was great to see those kind of cameos, and that made the match more fun. And Samoa Joe making Moxley pass out was the best decision to end the match, because I feel like we're heading towards Moxley versus Samoa Joe now at Double or Nothing, which is a nice kind of pit stop before All In. Unfortunately, it probably makes that match very, very predictable, and Moxley's most definitely winning that match. But look, I thought it was a perfect ending, and I just want to say one thing: is so congratulations to AEW and Tony Khan, because I feel like they get a lot of criticism from myself. They probably get too much criticism from the IWC. But however you feel about their product, however you feel, if you enjoy watching AEW, if you don't, you've got to admit that what Tony Khan has built and what AEW has been built into is truly special. We've got a genuine alternative to WWE. We've got a genuine alternative for the fans, for the wrestlers that can earn a good paycheck. That when if WWE fires you, or if you want to bet on yourself and leave WWE, then that's not going to be the be all end all. You can go to somewhere like AEW, and they can give you a platform to show how talented you are. So I think they need to get a lot of credit for that. So congratulations to AEW and congratulations to Tony Khan. And yeah, it was a great show and a great way to end the show.
No doubt about it. Fernando says this was an extremely fulfilling main event. I was rooting like crazy from my couch. Glad to hear you enjoyed it. I did too. But Shad, what were your thoughts?
So my thoughts are, it was a good closing segment to what I think was damn near perfect episode of AEW Dynamite. There wasn't a whole lot that I disliked from last night. I think they added great elements within every match. And then the changing of guard, the changing of the titles, being the main event makes the most sense. Initially, I was like, I don't know how we are going to have these guys go after what Ospreay and Takeshita just did. But they came out and they showed out. And I can't – who am I to doubt these 6 gentlemen wrestling yesterday? Because all 6 of them are phenomenal workers. The Death Riders – I kind of forget that they were the trios champions. And I think the issue with it isn't even them. I think it is the division that is the trios in AEW. When it was brought into place, it made sense because there was a lot of trio teams, factions. But now, as time goes on, I feel like it's lacking a little bit. And maybe that was part of the storyline with them, and the biggest criticism that we as fans have had with AEW is everything tied to the Death Riders. But if we are changing the guard, I think this is the right team. The Ops work so well together, and the nucleus of it is Samoa Joe. I think Samoa Joe carries so much believability, such a amazing talker, one of the best people on the mic in wrestling history, and the veteran leadership. I think you add him, pair him with someone like a Shibata, who doesn't talk a whole lot, right? But is a killer, is a straight killer. And they stand with their arms folded. And then you add whoever that third person may be. Initially, it was Hook, who fits the mold. But I'm not going to lie to you. Powerhouse Hobbs last night moved me more than Hook with the Ops moves me. And maybe it's just the fact that you put a Samoa Joe and a Will Hobbs on a team together. That is utter domination. That is one of the most powerful units that you can put together in AEW. That's a team that can go out and show out, and they could be champs forever. But with that, it's the caveat. Who are they going to go against? What teams will they hopefully feud with? I don't know. The Hurt Syndicate, that's something I wouldn't mind, but they're the tag champs. They have to really do a better job building up a trios division for us to feel like we need the trios titles. Because until then, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt for the time being, but it just feels like they're belts that are like props. You know, it looks nice when they walk out, but it doesn't mean a whole lot.
You're really not wrong. I agree
No.
completely. I mean, I don't understand why. I mean, we've spoken about this before. I had an argument with Soul about it a couple of weeks ago. But why are those trios belts there when the women's division doesn't have tag team titles in AEW?
Absolutely.
Like, this is what I don't really understand what the point in them is. Fernando says they are going to be the most dominant trio champions ever. I do agree with you guys on that.
And to that point, and Soul's my dog. I respect Soul a lot, even though he's not being a sicko going to Mania this weekend. But a women's tag title makes a lot more sense than a trios title because I can argue that you can build more women's tags than you can build trios teams together
Easily.
I mean, straight away.
And I'm going
Penelope Ford and Megan Bain straight away.
And I'm gonna be real with you, man. Tag team wrestling is way more palatable than trios matches.
Yeah,
trios matches are very much hit or miss for me. Like it's a lot that you got to put every single person together. And the other thing is this: like teams really matter. With the ops, I can see the vision of it because all three guys are different, but they do still have a bit of a similarity to it, like off of the look and whatnot. But then who are they going to go against, right? Like there's not a whole lot of teams that like, and it runs to the same case with the tag division because we're seeing it with the Hurt Syndicate. I'm no problem with them being champions. I think they are the epitome of what champions could be, but they're running out of competition.
They
you know
are.
what I'm saying?
Quickly,
like,
they
a
are.
lot of teams. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, that does bring us, guys, to the end of the show. But before we wrap it up, 2 hours from now, 2 hours and 15 minutes from now, Grappling for Position, the next episode will be live on this channel, featuring, of course, Drizzy as always, but Shad and Clark joining him. It is a really fun episode. Make sure to check that out. We have tons of content over the next 72 hours shoot at Wrestling Republic. Tomorrow, the daily, of course, we'll be doing our WrestleMania Night 2 predictions, part 2 from the other day. And then on Saturday, we have an early WR Daily. We have off the air after NXT show. And then, of course, the WrestleMania watch along too. We are keeping busy here at Wrestling Republic. So keep busy with us and keep on checking out our content. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We really do appreciate it. And thank you to Archie and to Shad for joining me here today. We will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. See you then. Peace.